My name is Gwen. I recently went through the worst moment of my life. I had to choose between two people whom I loved, my mom and my boyfriend Ethan. I chose love, and he betrayed me. And all of this might not have happened if my mother hadn't given me a choice. It all started last summer vacation. My friends and I went to an amusement park to celebrate Independence Day. The holiday was very noisy and bright. We were preparing to have a good time. Festivities were held throughout the city, but a concert was organized in the heart of it. The mayor invited a popular rock band to perform some hot tracks. Naturally, their appearance on the stage caused a storm of emotions among the citizens. My friends, among others, were waiting for the band to finally sing so they could sign autographs and take selfies. They said that their Instagram followers would be jealous, and I would be sorry that I didn't take a picture too. I honestly said that I don't like the style of their music, clothes, it's just not my style. I didn't understand how guys who had longer hair on their heads than me could even like them. While my friends were bulldozing their way through the crowd for autographs, I went to get some hot dogs nearby. I don't know what's so sexy about guys with black eyeliner, but their music sure sucks, I said aloud as I waited for food. This is the kind of genre that really suits Independence Day because rock was invented in the US and the UK. And since the 1950s, music has remained popular all over the world, said a voice behind me. From fright, I turned around. It turned out to be the bass guitarist of this band. Damn, I thought, this was awkward. While I was trying to find the words to apologize, the musician took my hot dogs and said they were a gift from me as compensation. I was terribly indignant at this impudence, ran after him and said that if our tastes different, I do not have to treat a hairy, decorated guy with food at my own expense. But he had already eaten everything by then and put the wrapper in my hands. I think I blushed with anger, slapped him, and left. He yelled at me to call him and let him buy me a proper dinner. I gave him my middle finger and walked away. Naturally, my girls saw this. On the way home, they took out all the brain, begged to go to dinner with him, and at the same time, take them with me. We'll be sitting at the next table and he won't even notice us. Please, this is an incredible chance, they said. From that moment, I had no peace. I would wake up and fall asleep to messages from my friends, begging and blackmailing me to meet them. I put up with it as long as I could, until one of them, Erica, said that she would tell my mother that I had lost her earrings. All right, one dinner, and that's it. And how will we meet, by the way? I don't know his phone number, I said with crazy. But my prudent friends had already done everything. They took his number that day and arranged for an evening. I must admit I was surprised to see Ethan without black eyeliner, without a guitar, in normal clothes, with a normal hairstyle. It made him look much more attractive. He picked me up in the car, and my girlfriends followed us. Ethan took me to a restaurant. I was not in the mood, and I showed it with all my appearance. Despite this, Ethan was polite and tried to start a conversation. In the end, I couldn't help but laugh because behind us, my girls were gawking at us and taking surreptitious photos. The musician didn't even ask what was wrong. He just said, "Let me finally give you an autograph and your friends will leave us alone." The girls heard his words and immediately ran to him. They screamed, arranged a whole photo session in the restaurant. For their loud behavior, the administrator made a remark to them. I've never felt more stupid. Then the girls left. Ethan asked the waiter if they had his favorite cherry cheesecake, but there was none. He was upset and then offered to take me home as he saw my discomfort. I agreed. On the way, he talked a lot about his band and music, and then asked what I liked. So imperceptibly began a dialogue. It turns out that celebrities have their own quirks, despite the popularity and wealth. Ethan just loves cherry cheesecakes, especially if they are stolen. I laughed at his jokes for a long time. It's strange, but he turned out to be an interesting conversationalist. He was fond of chemistry, read a lot of smart books. It was a revelation to me. In general, since then, he has called and written almost every day. I became attached. A couple of weeks later, Ethan invited me to another band concert. I arrived a little early and snuck into backstage to give him a cherry cheesecake. In the dressing room was all his gang except himself. They started throwing dirty jokes at me, calling me another chick, and I was confused and didn't know what to do. Ethan went into the dressing room and led me away, excusing himself. He saw the cheesecake and kissed me for the first time. So our love story began. Naturally, my mother found out about it. She was against the rock musician who, according to her, is too irresponsible, windy, not serious. She told me every day that she wouldn't let me ruin my life the way she had because of my father. Every time we were going on a date, she would go out and chase my boyfriend away. My relationship with him was on the verge of breaking up because of her. So it was decided. I was going to run out of the house with Ethan. The day before, my mother and I had a big fight about our relationship, and one day I waited until my mother was asleep, packed up, and ran to Ethan's. In my farewell note, I asked my mother not to look for us. I was scared, running through the streets at night and imagining in my head how Ethan and I were touring all over the world together, how happy we were together, how much we loved each other. I smiled and walked to the hotel. I knocked on the door of his room, but no one answered. The door was unlocked when I walked in, saw someone's shoes on the floor, and an untouched cherry cheesecake on the table. Moans came from the bedroom. At this moment, I felt my knees shaking, and tears immediately gushed from my eyes. I don't know which hurt more, that he betrayed me, or that my mother was right. By the morning I returned home, my mother was hysterical. She was about to call the police and saw me. My mother had only to look at my face. Instead of screaming and fighting, she hugged me tightly, and I sobbed. "This is what I wanted to protect you from, my daughter. I will definitely never betray you," my mother said. Since then, I have always listened to her words.